Hello everyone and welcome to Mexico. Currently following around Capitan Bo Spirit's brand new driver. Joining me in the commentary box for the last 5 minutes of this qualifying session is the owner of Brand Star. It's Shay.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Hope you have a good day today. Let's get ready for some racing.
I'm very excited. It's the last race or last F1 race of 2020. We're going to have the final two rounds of the season next year, along with the rest of season 6 of Formula E. Technically, the last race of 2020 will be the GT3 race, GT3 feature race. But this is the last F1 race, so I'm very excited about that. Hopefully, we'll go out with a bang for the end of the year.
Oh, most definitely. We have a lot of new drivers showing up right now, some that have been transferred over from Formula E and F2 that might be starting to shake up the track a little bit.
I'm very excited to see what's going to happen for eSpirit because last time out they had PDXS and Critical Noob scored some very good points for the team in Italy, which means they're no longer at the back of the constructors' standings. They are currently in P9 instead of P12. P12 is now Red Star, and now they've got Capitan Bo, who still is very talented. I would say more talented than PDXS and Critical combined, considering he's now currently P1 in qualifying, currently beating Dakar, and they've also got Castronics running as well, who's down in P13. We've seen better from him in the last season, but there's been a new wave of drivers coming in this season. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare up in this race. We also have the championship battle, as I'm calling it, between Dakar and Patricuro. Currently in qualifying, it's not looking brilliant for Patricuro. P15. The only way he could realistically win the championship now is if he wins every race of the season and gets the fastest lap in all of them races, and Dakar only scores something like 14 points. So, he could do it, but statistically, kind of impossible.
I've been hearing that people have been using the sand trap over on the beginning of Sector 3, using an extension to get a little better on their time because the lack of friction is not completely noticeable on the sand. So we might have to get some curbs on here real quick.
Yeah, it's... I mean, it's sneaky of them and smart of them for trying to do that, but it's not brilliant. You don't want to have to be extending track limits to try and get a
Yeah,
better time.
this might have been what Capitan was using in order to get this extreme amount of time.
Yeah.
But luckily, Gromowski is now here for us, and he'll be able to put some curbs over there.
Here is Dakar then. That doesn't seem to be a brilliant lap starting already. I'm not sure if he's on a flying lap now. I believe he's just on an out lap, doing another out lap. Because he did run wide at the first turn. Running the number 1 this weekend, signifying he's currently running first in the championship. He's also won the season 1 and 2 championships, so... Interestingly, it seems like every team currently has a good and a not as good driver, because there isn't a single team, I don't believe, that has at least 2 or 3 positions between their drivers. Capitan Bo in P1 has his teammate Castronics. Down in P13, Dakar has Kaikera in P10. Wolf Landry has Paddy Curo in P15. Korek has Project User in P14. There's a big gap between these teams. Is it going to be a game of just trying to use the back markers to fall back slightly, get laps, but give their teammates slipstreams just to try and pip the other people, the other drivers that they're against during the race to try and score some more points for each team?
Well, it seems though Patrick Curl was able to finally get a bit ahead. He's now going to be in 9th position.
But every team does have a gap between their drivers. Even seen in November, the Ferrari Junior team, and in Toyota, and in Aston Martin, and in Audi. There's a big gap for every team. That's very interesting to see. Even Lotus, who's not in the points, there's a big gap in their team as well.
The closest gap I can see so far is probably Red Star with Cool in 18 and still being 22nd. Oh, hang on. Novena's got a about the same one as well. F1 Fan at 6, JQ and Rec in 10th.
Everyone seems to have gone back to the pits for now. Or most people seem to be going back to the pits for now, but we still have several drivers out on track. That is F1 Fan running wide then. That's not going to do well for his lap. This is going to be his last lap of the session with only 7 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and after qualifying, we're going to have to wait for the next one as we wait for Grumowski to add some curves on the sand traps.
So Cast is the first person to cross the line. Then it is Jogsy for the Valor team, as that's F1 Fan coming into the pits. Capitan Bo is not going to run another lap. However, Dakar can. He's about to cross the line. What can he do? Can he take P1?
No, he's not trying to do any more qualifying. He gets that one qualifying lap and then he starts doing some more practice. That's why you can see him on the medium to... Oh!
And he just crashed into the back of one of the E-Spirits. And Warlord isn't going to go in for another flying lap. He resets. Dancer Hijek is going to try to do another lap. Is Paddy Kuro? No, he's in the pits as well. Let's go on board with Dancer Hijek in the Audi. See if he can improve on his P8 position. Did improve on his personal best in the first sector, didn't improve in the second sector. What can he do in the third sector? Is he going to get ahead of Professor Bloxer as he now crosses the line? No, he doesn't. He stays P8.
That is going to be, I believe, the last person.
Yep, I can't see anyone else out on track. Everyone else seems to be in the pits. There's your grid then. Capitan Bo lines up on pole. Dakar P2. Wolf Landry's in P3. Gorek on his debut in F1 for McLaren is lining up P4. Warlord on his debut for Toyota P5. F1 Fan in P6. Professor Bloxer P7. Dancer Hijek lines up P8. Patrick Kuros in P9. JQM Rec lines up in the final points positions in P10. Kai Kara, the second Ferrari, is in P11. The first of the Lotuses of Seva is in P13. Fernand P12, sorry. Fernand's P13. Castronics is in P14. Project User P15. Lolfun Greg P16. Lance Droid P17. Jogsy's P18. Coolplug Alt P19. Derp Dino Zurich is in P20. TDM Fan is in P21. The last Red Star of Silby is in P22. And the last person I can see is Scuppens in P23.
There's also going to be, I believe Dino actually got a 119 in 24th position. That's going to be for BMW.
That's off my screen, so I can't see that.
Yeah.
Hopefully... Go on.
Don't remember. Hang on a second. Yeah, Dino, NLY, Jacob, I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be one of the BMWs, I believe.
Yeah. I believe in future, maybe for next season, I may ask Cash to do this if he can bump the driver tower up a bit, because there are more than 23 drivers in every league, so that would be very helpful to be able to see who's in P24 in F1, F2 and FE, and it also extends to 32 drivers in GT3, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So the best qualifying time was a 1:12, so let's do the math on that.
So that's 72 seconds. 45 minutes
12.5 divided by 60. 1.28, sorry, 1.2083. 45 divided by that. We're going to have about 37 laps by the looks of it.
37 laps of racing to round up F1 in 2020. I'm excited. Everyone's now being told to line up to the grid here in Mexico. Very interestingly, we still haven't wrapped up any championships, although in the drivers it's definitely looking like Dakar will take it, with a big gap down to Patrick Kuro. However, if Dakar doesn't score in the next 3 races, or he only scores something like less than 20 points, then it's looking like Paddy Kuro might be able to take it. But statistically, that's very unlikely. But physically, it is.
I mean, if you look at the results recently, you've always seen either Decare crashing or getting in first. So seeing
Yeah.
Decare getting a 3rd position for 2 of these races is probably going to be impossible. So the best bet that Patrick Kuro can get right now is to get those first places and have Decare crash for at least 2 of those races.
Yeah. It's...
But Patrick Kuro will also have to finish every single one of those races in order for him to have an effect.
Yeah.
However, if not, he can always still hold on to a 2nd position off of Kakera.
Yeah, I believe holding on to 2nd position from Kai Kara, all respect to Kai Kara, but that's pretty possible. Dakar, every race he's contested in, or contested the finish in this season, he's won. So Dakar wins or DNF, so that's his game. Last time out we did see him battling a bit. So unless Patrick Kuro flips over and gets another drive-through penalty this weekend, he could have a good performance up his sleeve, which we will be seeing, or could be seeing, in a few moments' time. So stick with us. It's time for the last weekend of the year, but we're not letting this year go out without a bang. Hello everyone and welcome to the Mexican Grand Prix. It's round 8 of Season 3 and 45 minutes or 37 laps of racing is ahead of us. It's tight and technical, but it also has a massive straight, which is a perfect description of this circuit, the Autodromo Internacional de Hernan Cortes. The long, swooping right-handers of turns 1 and 13, part of that long straight, with also the left-left-right of turns 2, 3 and 4 partnering the second straight. Turn 6 is a hard braking zone, a crucial place to make up time, which then feeds you into turn 8 and 9, past the massive grandstands and into the more open last sector. This track isn't a long one either. It's one of the shortest we've had since the mid-season break, but that doesn't mean it won't bring some exciting racing, as we saw in France, another short track. The 2 DRS zones here, where drivers can open their rear wing to gain extra speed on their rivals ahead, are located along the aforementioned main and back straights. The Central American climate brings us just a 2% chance of rain today, so I doubt we'll be seeing any of the wet compound tyres. Instead, we'll be seeing the softs, mediums and the hards in use, with some mixed strategies as teams try to undercut and overcut each other to either gain or lose time in the pit stops. Dominant Dakar held on to his top spot in the championship last time out in Italy, and his nearest rival of Patrick Kuro needs to win and get the fastest lap today in a hope to be able to stop Dakar from getting his 3rd successive championship. Professor Bloxer has been doing wonders in the midfield recently, as he is now in 4th with an 8-point gap behind him, and E-Spirit finally got a good chunk of points, bringing PDXS to P14 and Critical Noob to P17, split by the BMWs. The only person to remain unclassified so far is Cool Plug Alt in the Red Star, as the McLarens now line up at the back of the championship, just below Sever, who scored some points for Lotus as their reserve driver. So here is your pole sitter, everyone. This is Capitan Bo now on the formation lap, and joining me in the commentary box today for the final F1 race of the year, it's the Brandstar team owner, Shay A.
Hello everybody. Get ready for some great racing today as we're going to be in Mexico. I believe you already have told us the aspects for driver championship, right, D-Pod?
Yep, we have Dakar in P1, who has a good big point gap, to Paddy Kuro behind him. Paddy Kuro needs to win the next 3 races with fastest lap and hope that Dakar makes some very bad mistakes.
I can only be hopeful, but seeing as this Mexico track is completely flat, a lot of the chances of crashes happening are going to be on these top curbs. People taking the apexes wrong, having a bit of issues with being over the ground, and thus losing traction. But also the grass and the sand pits have been effect, and especially the last one over at Sector 3 with curbs. That might come into play. We will
Yeah, we
know.
can now see the curbs that have been added. Capitan Boat now testing them out to make sure that they actually do work, because we believe that may have been how he was being able to get such fast times in qualifying.
Other than that, we'll have to see what happens because Decare, if he crashes out 2 races, that will be an advantage for Patrick Rue, but Patrick Rue will also have to make sure he doesn't crash for any of these races in order for him to get a driver's championship. But if he can hold this position that he has off of Kakara, that's also good for him. We also have Capitan Bo, who's been showing some flying numbers recently, and Coretta as well, the last racer of Formula E to win a race.
If Paddy
However,
Cura can get P2 in the championship, that would be very good for his debut full season with Brandstar. But
it's true.
if Takea can make the mistakes and he does happen to win it, that will also look very good on his resume.
It'll make him the youngest driver to get a driver's championship, I might add. And I don't think that will ever be fixed. I don't think that'll ever be broken afterwards.
Yeah, Dakar, however, he cannot be underestimated, as he does already have 2 championships, and he won his first just contesting half of the races, or pretty much half of the races in Season 1.
I think we're ready to go.
So, you can't actually see the lights above the drivers, but you can see them down the main straight, so don't fear, everyone. I will be able to count them down for you. So here we go. Here come on the lights. 5 lights are now on. And they go out, and we are away in Mexico. Seems to be a very good start from McLaren, moving into the middle of the pack, and into the middle, physically, middle of the track. However, Capitan Bo is keeping his lead. Is he, or is he not? Dakar seems to have gotten the inside line into turn 1, now through into turn 2. They are neck and neck as they now head in through turn 3. That Toyota of Warlord seems to be getting up there with them, but it still seems to have Capitan Bo in the lead. The timing tower is saying by 0.2 of a second. That gap is getting bigger and bigger as they now head down into turn 6, that hard braking zone. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? It seems to be Capitan Bo, and there's now an Aston Martin getting into the mix as they're now heading into the stadium section of the track. That gap to Dakar seems to be getting bigger and bigger every single corner. There's a Toyota fighting, and Kaikera also seems to be gaining places in the back of the field.
Seems as though Capitan's running away with it right now. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets a podium today, because he is at 2 podiums, I believe. And if he gets a 3rd podium, he's going to have to give up either his F1 career or his GT3 career. Although I have heard him say that he wants to give up the GT3 career for an F1 career. So that's going to be interesting what East Sliders is going to have to do if he gets a podium, and he's going to have to replace him. I've seen him get a reserve driver, Tesla Rosa, recently, so that might be what their play is. However, seeing as Capitan Bo is just running away with it, we'll have to see if he can actually do really good today, or if he's going to have the same issue he had in Italy where he crashes his car.
Kaikera gets the fastest lap. Dakar now has a 1.2 second gap to Capitan Bo in front, as F1 Fan has made it all the way up into P3. I said, let's hope this race goes out with a bang. Everyone said this track looked kind of boring, but we've only had 1.5 laps so far, and this racing is fantastic.
Capitan Bo going straight into the grass off of that exit, seeing if his tires are going to cause any effect on that. It seems as though the friction didn't cause too much of an effect, though, because he's still running it pretty hard, and he was able to go straight through.
Let's head to the back of the field now. Professor Bloxer, who started in the top 10, is now running P15. I'm wondering if he made a mistake in the first 2 laps, because we haven't seen him pretty much this low all season. He's always been contesting right near the front. His teammate Fernand is now behind the 2 Brandstars, who are neck and neck at the moment. Kaikera seems to have fallen down a bit. The Novena and Audi of Danza Hajek are also fighting at the front.
Just went to the curbs of that middle section.
Would that have been correct, or would that have been Project
No, that was
User?
definitely Project User who did that. I see Grabowski watching off of that 3rd section sand trap, seeing if anybody's going to be stupid enough to use that strategy again. Luckily, everybody seems to have gotten the message.
The gap for Dakar is now getting bigger and bigger But he has taken the fastest lap. He had a personal best first sector in session, best sector 2 and sector 3. So we're going to see how that turns out for him. He may now be gaining on Capitan Bo. Dancer Hijek is now in the 3rd podium position, as he is right next to F1 Fan at the moment. Do remember, though, F1 Fan did crash out last time out whilst fighting for a podium. We might see a repeat of that again. However, during that time, his teammate JQN Rec was also up there with him. At the moment, he's down in P12, so it may have just been some teammate rivalry, as that is a Toyota going wide. That would have been the Toyota of Warlord going wide into the sand trap there.
I'm a little surprised by Capitan's performance. He's basically doing what Decare is doing. However, Decare is in this race right now, and yet he's still holding ahead of him by a large amount. Let me check what kind of tires he has on. He has mediums on, and so does Decare. So he's running a better pace than he is at the moment, which is completely interesting if you think about it.
We saw Dakar fighting with Pachacura last time out in Italy. We're now seeing Capitan Bo dominating over him in Mexico. Is it drivers coming out of their shells, or is it Dakar just losing performance?
Or it could be Capitan using some sort of performance-enhancing drugs. You never know.
You never know. Dakar now closes the gap up slightly to the person in front of Capitan Bo. Now just 1.03 seconds between them, but that still is quite significant just for the 4th lap.
Seems that the rest of the grid, however, is starting to separate right now, as it seems as though a lot of people are starting to finish their last lap. Who's that in the back? It looks like a BMW driver. No, that's a Red Star driver. Yeah, it seems everybody's starting to space out a little bit, which is good for them. It means they don't have to get cluttered up, and they can check their turns properly.
Professor Bloxer gains positions again. Did I just see someone flip over, or was that my imagination? There was a BMW running wide then. Yeah, so Professor Blox just made his way up to 9th from 15th, gaining positions. I believe he may want to get up higher into the points. Wolf Landry has now made up time into P3, and Patre Kuro has fallen all the way down to P18. Has he made a mistake, or was that off of pure pace? I'm not sure about what he's doing down there. That's very unusual.
I'm not sure either. I don't see him that far back. Oh, wait, hang on. There he is. All right, I see him. Well, luckily, it's not that much of a difference right now, as we are still just beginning this race, and so that's going to be less than a lap of difference.
5 laps out of 37.
Capitan's running away really quickly. However, since this is a race of endurance, we're going to have to see if that continues, or if Decare is going to take advantage of a mistake Capitan makes.
Some tracks suit other drivers better. We've seen tight and technical tracks, we've seen long and wide tracks, so maybe this sort of mishmash of a hybrid track really suits Capitan's performance, because we have...
I really do believe...
Yeah, like I said in the intro, we have massive straights, and we also have very tight technical sections.
And I do believe that the crashes on this track are going to be a lot less than something like Greece or Italy, because we don't have as many problem areas. I think the main problem areas have to do with curbs. And I've seen some people lose traction off of Sector 3, but that's been very seldom. So I don't think there's going to be as many crashes as we saw at Italy. Hopefully, because last time when we were at Italy, not even 10 drivers were able to finish.
Yeah. Dakar had his left 2 tyres falling off of the track then through the final corner. So they now go under the bridge and onto the main straight. Dakar is going to get the DRS.
Seems like Dakar's starting to catch up. Yeah, it seems like Dakar's starting to catch up to Capitan. Looks like Capitan's going to start having to work for his money. Uh-oh. Oh, alright, good.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a lag right there.
Interesting news that Faster has told us is that hopefully for next season, the lag should be slightly less. Because of the way that they store all of the tracks, it does make the game more laggier, so apparently they found a new system in just bringing it in without actually storing them. So hopefully that will reduce lag, not having to have each track saved.
Hopefully they remember to do that, because we've had many delays due to tracks not being ready in time.
Yeah. So the gap is remaining around 0.8 of a second now. We'll see as they cross the 2nd sector timing line very shortly what the gap is actually shrunk to. But it seems like Capitan Bo may be able to just hold his charge at the front of the pack.
I've seen not many people getting stuck on those curbs on that one turn over in the midsection. The last person I saw getting stuck on them... Oh, and I speak too soon. There goes a McLaren again going across them. But that doesn't seem to be Project User this time. That seems to be Coretta. What place is Critter in?
P13, that would be.
Ah, that must have been him then. Gosh, Dakar and Capitan both just running away with it.
Half a second now separating them. Dakar is gaining time. So if he can make up, it looks like he's currently making up around 0.2 a second with the DRS. So in a couple of laps, he may be able to retake the lead. That is all depending on what Capitan Beau does, though, as well, everyone seems to be running wide out of, I believe that is turn 4. Everyone seems to be running wide out of turn 4, giving them an advantage. That's very interesting indeed. Dakar just ran wide out of turn 6. But you can already see the massive gap down to Professor Bloxer disconnects. He was in P3.
Oh no, that's Professor Bloxer out of the race. His car's still standing though, so it's gonna be, he won't be collidable. However, that is his car out of the race now. That's Professor Bloxer dead in the water.
Professor Bloxer, best of the rest in the midfield, no longer contest this race. F1 fan, Warlord, Wolf Landry, Kaikera, and, well, pretty much everyone else in this race is going to get a free position out of that disconnect, as he now falls to the back of the grid.
Aston Martin right now is going to be in P3 in the constructors. But right now, Audi Sports got 76 points. If they're able to do something this race, if both drivers are able to get a good amount of points...
Oh, there's a big crash! There's a big crash! Who is that? That's Wolf Landry out of the race. That's JQM Wreck out of the race. That's Warlord out of the race. That's the two Novena's out of the race.
5. Hang on a second. That's a yellow flag.
That's Dino Zurich's out of the race. That's the other BMW out of the race of Dino. That's a McLaren out of the... No, it's not. McLaren's not out of the race yet. Everyone getting out. We're going to see who's behind them. Oh, that was... Blimey. Oh my god.
I'm hearing that was instant collision.
That's like Greece. So we also have Warlord, the Toyota out. We have Wolf Landry out. We have the two Novenas out. And we also have the two BMWs out.
We might have to go back for review on that one. That might not be... Something's up with that.
Yeah, right.
I'm hearing that the collisions were instant.
If the collisions were instant, then that is a fault of Cash for not fixing it. Because there is meant to be a 10-second cooldown. Right, here's Capitan Beau now approaching the wreckage. It seems like everyone can stick to the left and stay safe. Dakar does have the DRS wing open.
And we're going to call red flag.
Red flag, calling red flag? Okay, that is a red flag, everyone. So here are the positions.
If you could, send me the positions for that right before the crash.
Yeah, are the people who crashed, will they be able to... What's it called? Will they be able to rejoin the race? We'll find out. Okay.
Hearing that Professor disconnected, so he might not be able to continue the race. But anybody who's in the crash definitely will be able to.
Yeah, so Shay, I have sent the driver tower before the crash. That's all I could see. So that's the top 20. It seems like everyone is going to be getting fresh tyres. including Captain Bow, who goes into the McLaren pit box.
Something's up. Something's not right. So we were at 9 laps. Did you get the positions? Okay,
Yeah, I
they
put
did.
it into media chat.
Wolf was not 19th. You guys are sending one. Hang on. They're saying it wasn't instant collide, but it definitely was.
I'm not sure when the actual crash was though. I believe it was instant because I was spectating Dakar or Captain Bow and the Novena was right next to them. So, yeah. I don't believe that Cash would have edited the collision time on the cars either, because that hasn't been an issue since France or Greece.
Surprised we didn't catch this in time.
Yeah. So we're just going to be doing some testing quickly to check the collisions.
Didn't go straight through.
Yeah. And this has also reminded me that I forgot to make yellow and red flag graphics with the new driver tower, so that's going to be on the list for the new year.
So we've made a decision. Gonna announce that now. Okay, let's figure out these positions real quick. Wait, are we on lap 9 or lap 7?
I believe the crash would have been on lap 7, and then they did lap 8, and they came in and triggered for lap 9.
Lap 8. Yeah, we might be on lap 8. They were just continuing to race by then.
So everyone is going back to the grid now to restart. Curious complaining that it was lap 9. Very interesting.
leaves only 12 people in the grid by the looks of it. You want to check the footage, see how many people crashed?
Yep. Wait, it was Wolf Landry. There's no point remembering. I'll just check.
So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have
I know it
both
was
BMWs.
both
Lotus is
Novenas and
fine.
both BMWs, and then there were 6 people who crashed. I'm not sure exactly who, but there were 6 people who crashed.
Yeah, it was 2 Novenos, 2 BMWs, an East, Red Star, and a Brand Star.
Here comes Dakar.
Okay, I'm not really worried about the grid positions. This is fine as it is.
I believe Lolf and Greg is stuck in the garage. May want to work on getting him out. There we go.
It's a shit show.
Not a better description. Just hope that no one else crashes. Now I've said that, probably people will. I never noticed. McLaren are running a special livery for Mexico with Mexican colours on the side pod. That's quite nice.
Alright, so we were on 8, this is 37 laps, so let me just do that. We're going to start on lap 29. Castronics is dead in the water right now.
I believe Dakar just respawned his car as he's now driving out of the pit lane.
Swear. What the world? Derp and Dino are out. Lance. Is Lance out? I don't think Lance is out.
Let me just look at the image. Stream more like.
Products here. Professor was there. Then Skeppins and Jogsy's over here.
All I can see from the stream is that there were both Novenas. There was a Brandstar, that was Wolf Landry, a Toyota, and then both BMWs. I cannot see an Audi, because I believe Lance still can contest this race.
Make sure everybody's in. That's 15 drivers. Alright, we're gonna try this again.
Yeah, well, this runs this time. Here we go then, for the second start of today. 5 lights are on, and they go out, and we are away again in Mexico. Now, there's an Audi moving to the middle of the track, unlike the McLaren last time. They're going into turn 1 at the same time. Dakar seems to have now pipped Capitan Beau for the lead. Unlike the last start, he has gotten ahead. Capitan Beau is not going to give in, though. He is going to try and fight back. There's now an Aston Martin, a Lotus, and an Audi, all fighting for third position. However, Dakar is now moving to the right of the track for some reason, probably trying to cut off of Capitan Beau's slipstream. As they now go into turn 6, the hard braking zone. Who's going to get out on top? They're neck and neck for position, the E-Spirit and the Ferrari. However, it looks like the Ferrari is staying on top for the time being, as the E-Spirit now takes the lead. Teva in the Lotus now seems to be lining up P3, but it looks as if the Aston Martin and Audi, that would be a Fernand and our Dancer Hajek, have now gotten ahead. I believe everyone's fitted. Well, the top two are running mediums. Then it looks like some people are running softs. And there's also some people, such as Seva in the Lotus, running hard compound tyres. Maybe they're going to try go to the end without actually having to serve a proper pit stop, as they changed their tyres in the red flag period. So here we go, crossing the line for the first lap of the second restart, or the first restart, the second start. Fernand takes the fastest lap, just 1 exact second behind Capitan Beau in first place. Dakar is 0.7 seconds behind him. Dante Hajek is 1.1 seconds behind Capitan Beau. Everyone seems to be setting session best first sectors. Capitan Beau sets the session best first, then does Kai Kara, which means that Capitan Beau now just has a personal best first, as well as Dakar having a personal best first sector. Now rounding through turn 6, some people going wide, such as Dakar and the Audi. Now heading towards the stadium section of the track. Fernand is holding his fastest lap for the time being. Everyone is improving, though. I'm wondering if Kai Kara may be able to take that away from him, as he has a session best first sector, a personal best second sector, and Capitan Beau has not improved in the second sector. Could he take fastest lap? Looking very unlikely at this point. Looking like it's now going to go to Kai Kara. Just depends how much faster Dakar and the other drivers around him are. Another one of the drivers who has not Improved in his second sector would be the valor of TDM Fan, who runs wide. Now looking good down the main straight. Dakar is holding second place and does take fastest lap with a session best third sector. He's now literally on the diffuser of the E-Spirit. Captain Bo holding his lead. And down the main straight again. Here comes Dakar. Here comes Capitan Bo. Dakar seems to have gotten into the lead. He's trying to deny Capitan Bo a slipstream, but they're right next to each other. There's just 3/10 in it. Who's going to get out on top? It seems like they're going to hold position through this first turn, but what's going to happen in turns 2 and 3? It gets tight and technical. Who has the most downforce and who has the most skill? It seems as if Dakar may be able to holding, but Capitan Bo is climbing. He gets the DRS. Is he going to stay in the slipstream? Looks like he's going to try to stay in the slipstream as he now takes the lead away from Dakar again. Dakar is fighting though. He's not going to be giving in this lead. Here they go then, into the stadium section. Once again on lap 4 of this restarted race. Capitan Bo staying ahead. Dakar not wanting to give in. Nearly ran out wide onto the bumps there. Seems to look like Dakar may have gotten this lead once again. But they are literally inside of each other. They're literally neck and neck. They are at the exact same position. Both of them, they want to win it. But either of them are going to have to give in.
Capitan Bo still has to do a pit sometime during this race. It's 28 laps after the reset, but even then, it's going to have to see what happens. I don't think any of the drivers were able to change. Actually, no, I think all of them were able to change tires during that pit stop during the red flag. So they all have fresh tires, but after a while, those tires are going to start running down. And a lot of pit strategies have been having to change recently. Although it seems as though Capitan Bo still on the medium tires as well as Dakar.
Leaderboard back.
I believe Seva may have been only one of the only people to fit the hard compound tyre. I'm not sure whether they are going to try and go to the end on that compound so they don't have to serve a pit stop, but it will be pushing it to the absolute limits.
Yeah, D-Pod, you should bring the leaderboard back on the stream so the viewers can see it.
Good point. Thank you, Cash.
No problem.
Capitan Bo holding his lead half a second now to Dakar, who has fastest lap. And now about to cross the line once again as they round this final corner of turn 13 through turn 14. Looking to get a good exit out of that corner, both of them. However, Dakar gets the DRS because he is within 1 second of the car ahead. Is that going to give him enough extra speed to get into the lead? Doesn't look like it will be, but the gap does close up yet again.
It'll be interesting to see how many people changed the amount of fuel they had, because I believe some people were able to reset their cars during that red flag. I wonder if anybody took advantage of that, and if so, we'll have to see.
Yeah. If anyone did take advantage of it, then they're definitely going to have a faster car than the people around them. But then again,
A
it does
faster
depend.
car, but they won't have to worry about their fuel anymore.
Yeah. Pedicuro is making up positions, fighting with Fernand in the Aston Martin. This is a very close battle. One person of Pedicuro looks to be on the mediums. The other person in the Aston Martin of Fernand seems to be on the softs. They may be on completely opposite strategies here then.
Seems a lot of people are starting to be a little more careful in their lines. They want something to happen that just happened where 6 of our drivers were completely destroyed from the race. Actually, 7 of them.
Alright, Cast and Project User are all quite close to each other. Lolf and Greg is gaining positions. Now, getting, well, if he finishes in this position, getting 1 point for the Toyota team.
Chikura seems to have gotten in the lead, now in 3rd position, right behind Dakar and Capitan. But right behind him is going to be Kakara, and behind him is Fernand. Seems like he got a good train going from 3rd to 7th. Will be enough to catch up with Dakar and Capitan.
6 seconds is currently separating the top 3. Padicuro's in the 3rd podium position. Like I said at the start of the stream, which may feel like a very long time ago now because of the red flag period, Pedicuro needs to win the remaining 3 races with fastest lap and hope that Dakar gets 3rd in one. Gets... What was it again? It was like 3rd in one, 3rd in another, and then doesn't score any points, I believe.
Yeah, he gets 3rd in 2 of them and then crashes out. But seeing as Dakar right now is in the lead, I don't see that happening. But still, Capitan Bell's fighting it out with him. After that, Dakar swapped to McLaren. Esprit's feeling the heat, and they're going to start trying to push for some more points. They were able to get a good amount of them last race, with both drivers getting in the top 10. However, I think they're looking for a little more today. Luckily, both of their drivers are still in this race. I presume.
The last time that there was an E-Spirit car fighting at the front was in Season 2 with Castronics, who's currently running P10. So you can kind of see how a drop in performance there has not helped their team whatsoever, as they were running right at the dead back of the Constructors' Championship after or before last time out in Italy. Dakar's weaving across the track. He's trying to stop Capitan Beau from getting this slipstream, but he does have DRS.
Fernand's pitting.
So he's going to come in to change from the soft compound of tyres, most likely to the mediums or maybe even the hards, as there are still 20 laps remaining in this race. I'm going to find out what compound he switches to in just a hot minute. And he has switched. He's gone to the hards. That's going to be very interesting for endurance. And it also sends him right to the back of the field with a big gap down to TDM Fan in the Valor. Pedicuro running P3 ahead of Kai Kara. That's going to do him well. If he wishes to remain in P2 in the Drivers' Championship,
he's going to lose a lot of time.
He's already dropped behind Sever. That means the Audi of Dante Hajek behind him may also be able to get some more momentum. But it seems like Kai Kara has been able to get back up to full speed. 10 seconds between the teammates of Dakar and Kai Kara.
Starting the new lap. Who's the person in the back right now? It seems as though that's going to be Fernand. Due to his pit, he's now going to be in the back of the pack.
Sever running P4 for the Lotus team. He is on the hard compound tyre. Is he going to be doing the opposite to what Fernand did? Hit the softs right at the end of the race. Capitan Beau has gotten himself back into the lead, however Dakar is not going to concede that easily. He is going to be fighting it back. He does have fastest lap. That's only going to get him 1 extra point, though.
Care, I heard from him that he was saying he was a little concerned with the fact that Capitan's keeping pace with him and yet is using less fuel than him. Whether or not they're going to put that under investigation, I don't think so, but it might be something to be interesting in. Because Decare, we haven't seen anybody try to keep up with him recently, except for maybe Patakuro on one occasion, but that was when he had crashed. But now Capitan is seeming to keep pace with Decare in a car that's had less points on resources.
Very interesting indeed. Are we going to make the statement and say that Capitan Bo is a better driver than Dakar yet?
That's to be seen. I don't know. What do you think, Kashmir?
So I just want to chip in here about that. You have to remember that the Ferraris did a lot of retiring this year, and upgrades are really effective on these cars. And we know that the Spirits are very regular finishers.
Actually, no, they're not. Kashmir, I
Yeah.
believe that E-Spirits has as many finishes or less finishes than Ferrari, because I remember there have been times where both of their drivers have crashed out.
Hang
Yeah,
on,
we
I've got
should
the
go ahead
thingy
and
up.
double
I'll
check
count
that.
them.
Thank you very much. And while we're doing that, you also have to remember where they put their upgrades. And
Well,
I know
that-
for a fact Ferrari doesn't put a lot of their upgrades into engine. They put a lot of their upgrades into chassis.
That is fair. However, Capitan Bo, has been using less fuel.
The
don't know, maybe Ferrari
Ferraris
should
have
start
had
building
8
it up.
finishes in total this season. And that is 4 finishes. Oh wait, no, these are just going to be points finishes. These are, yeah, that's not going to be total finishes. Well, Ferrari have always ended up in the points, so Ferrari have had 8 total finishes. But I'm not sure about E-Spirit because they've not always ended up in the points.
All right. And as for upgrades, as I was just saying, Ferrari don't put a lot of their upgrades into engine. They actually put a lot of their upgrades into chassis. And one of the benefits of putting upgrades into engine is less fuel consumption and more power. So that could go ahead and explain that.
If you put all your stuff into engine and nothing else, I don't know if that's going to be that much of an effect.
I mean,
It'll give you more
we
speed
gotta
in
see.
straight lines, which is where Capitan Bo is catching up to Dakar.
That is true. We'll have to see what happens because his tires might be starting to feel some wear because of the lack of those upgrades. And the only person I believe we've seen pit so far has been Fernand.
But that is about to change. Well, there's 2 Audis at the back of the field, and there's 3 people in the pit. It's both of the Valors, and it's Cool Plug Alt. TDM Fan Jugsy and Cool Plug Alt are now pitting. Both Valors are going from the mediums. Let's see what tyres they put on. One goes for the hards, and they both go for the hards. They're both on the exact same strategy. Cool Plug Alt has also switched tyres, and he, I believe, may have gone onto the softs. I can't exactly see until he rounds this corner. Yes, he has. He's gone onto the soft compound tyre. Very interesting strategy from Red Star. Let's also see what tyres the Audis have been put onto. Lance Droid has fitted the mediums, and Dr. Hajek has also fitted the mediums. So it seems like every team, or these teams, are keeping every driver on the exact same strategy.
Interesting strategies.
Padikuro is in P3 on his medium tyres, 10 seconds behind Dakar and Capitan Bo, who are battling out for P1. Dakar is now the person behind with
wow.
the DRS.
They might even be able to get to a point where they lap the Valors and Red Star.
They are 67 seconds behind now. And I believe the qualifying lap time was 72 seconds.
I believe so.
That's just probably around 10 more seconds to make up on the back markers, and then they'll be running alongside them. Dakar.
Pachacuro, Seva, and Kakera still in third, fourth, and fifth. They're having a little bit of train going on, getting slipstream off each other.
Dakar keeping his lead. Yeah, slightly slidey. That could be a sign that the tyres are now going out. But he is weaving like mad. He does not want Capitan Bo to get this slipstream. If Dakar keeps weaving like that, that could make his tyres degrade faster. So I'm not sure whether he'll want to keep doing that for much longer. If not, he may have to pit more than once, as we are now halfway through this race after the restart.
Well, whatever he's doing, it's seeming to work because Capitan Bo's starting to have a little bit more trouble trying to keep up with the carry, even on the straights.
He has gained some time throughout there, however. Well, you can tell that Dakar is getting bigger and bigger every single time. If they keep flip-flopping positions every 2 and 3 laps like this, well, you can do the maths. We're not sure who it's going to be. Padikura is keeping a good gap down to Seva. Kaikera is going to be wanting to gain positions on the Lotus in front of him. Project User has just headed into the pits, and he has fitted the medium compound tyre. There you go, you can see that special Mexico livery. And Capitan Bo and Dakar are now sharing the lead with each other as Dakar goes into the pits.
Yep, there goes Dakar to the pitch, which means Capitan Bo is now
as
home
well
free.
as Kaikara. Dakar has fitted the medium compound tyre. We're going to see what compound Kaikara fits. If he's going to switch from medium to soft and hard, or hard perhaps. And he sticks with the medium compound. He gets a fresh set of medium compound tyres on. So, if E-Spirit are going to reply to Ferrari, I believe they may be trying to push now really hard as well, as Rolf and Greg is now also pitting. He is on mediums. What compound is he going to switch to? And he sticks with mediums as well. I believe we may be seeing Capitan Bo head into the pits any second now then. He's rounding the final sector. If he doesn't go into the pits this lap, I'll be very surprised because of tyre wear. Seems to be degrading quite quickly for all of the people around him. Or lack of people around him now, as I should say. And he does go into the pits. He's responded to Ferrari. Let's go on board with Dakar. He set a session best middle sector. Let's see if he can get ahead and create a gap on Capitan Bo, which is what he will want. Going into the stadium section now. Capitan Bo.
He's definitely not going to be able to get the fastest lap so far because, you know, he's going straight off the pits off of that exit. So maybe on the next lap he'll be able to get one, but he might be able to get a few seconds off on it.
Capitan Bo should be now coming out of the pits. And Dakar has taken him. Dakar up into P3. Capitan Bo has fallen back drastically with that pit stop. Dakar definitely did it at the right time, and E-Spirit have not done that well. And that is going to be the other McLaren of Korek, now in P8, because he is about to stop in the pit box. There he is.
E-Spirit just pit as well.
That's going to be cast. I do rather like the Mexico livery they've got on that McLaren. It looks rather fetchy. And they've put the soft compound tyres on that McLaren, surprisingly. They're probably going to have to box once again before the end of this race. Dakar now sets another personal best first, session best first sector, apologies. We'll see what he can do in the second sector, but it looks as if he may be able to get fastest lap. He's improved on the second sector.
Patrick still has gone in for a pit. Neither has the Lotus of Seva. And Dakar's right behind them, so the moment Patrick and Seva pit, Dakar's going to take advantage of it, and then he'll be in the lead.
Capitan Bo running P4. He's just set a session best sector 2. What's he going to do in sector 3? Dakar doesn't improve. He sets a personal best sector 3. Is this now going to be the gaining back up on Dakar from Capitan Bo? It's going to be very interesting to see, as Dakar now has gotten ahead of the Lotus of Seva. He's now going to be trying to climb and overtake the brand start of Padikura, who still needs to pit, by the way. He's going to be down in at least P7 or P8 around the other Lotus of Scuppens, Fanan and Dante Hajek.
I remember Patrick saying that he could run tires for a good 24 laps, so he might be trying to run them for the whole race, and he's going to try and risk it all, but I'm not sure that might be the best strategy. Like I said, I don't know what their strategy is. I've only been running with them in the free practices, but will they be able to hold these tires as long as they can, or will Dakar be able to take an advantage of that? It's still yet to be seen. However, I will add that we have not had any more crashes recently, thank goodness. We would not like to have a second Magello for the day. Cashmere's here with us today. Oh, and there it is. There it is. Patrick Cruz now going to the pits.
Here he goes then. We'll find out what position he falls back to. We can see members of his team around him. Capitan Bo now takes the fastest lap. I believe he's going to come out around Fanan. Here comes Fanan. And the Brandstar Panicuro is way ahead. He's only 16 seconds behind the lead.
He's going to have some fresh tires.
We'll see what position
Oh, and he got on the softs as well.
Maybe waiting until there's only 10 laps remaining has actually done Panicuro some wonders. He's gotten a very fast pit stop. He's also gotten some very fast tyres.
He will still have to hold those tires for those 10 laps, even then.
But he will have more time to spend them because he boxed a lot later than his rivals. And that is the Lotus of Scuppens now going into the pits. We'll find out what tyres he's been put onto. I believe he's been put onto the mediums. Capitan Bo's now 5.8 seconds behind Dakar in the lead.
Seems as though Kakara just got ahead of Patrick Cruz. Did that just happen, or did that happen after the pits?
I believe that may have happened just now. He is on a slower set of tyres as well. That's very interesting indeed. And Seva is running P3. Has Seva pitted?
And there it is. Patrick Cruz just passed him on that straight.
I believe Seva hasn't pitted. Is this...
Seva hasn't pit. That's interesting.
Lotus
We're gonna have to
put on fresh hard tyres during the red flag. Are they sending Seva to the end? If they are, that's an insane strategy to have run. But if it works out, they're going to get their first podium.
I don't know. You might need to watch him. Make sure he doesn't cause another crash.
And he's sliding. He just slid. Maybe that's a sign that they shouldn't have gone with this strategy. However, Panicuro has got the session best first sector. Is he now going to go for fastest lap? Maybe he's taken some inspiration from the news articles I put out and he's going for fastest lap in first place. Very much doubt it, but still possible. He has gained time on Kaikara, however.
A little concerned about the strategies Lotus has been using. The fact that they're keeping Seva out there on hard tires from, I would only assume the whole race, means they're starting to try and go for a risk versus reward.
Yeah,
so this is either going to go very well for them or it's going to go terribly wrong. And there it is. Seems as though they weren't able to hold him as far as they could.
Yeah, I believe he must have started complaining on team radio because if they did try and send him to the end on hards, that would have been absolutely absurd.
Let's see if Patrick Cruz, however, is able to hold those softs better than Kakara can hold his mediums. Because right now they're very close together.
The most likely tyres they're now going to put Seva onto is the red soft tyres, which is exactly what they do.
I would hope they do.
Panicuro has not been able to take fastest lap, as he did not improve in the second or third sectors, and he hasn't improved on the first sector on this lap either. One person who is improving, however, is Lolfun Greg. Did improve in the second sector. What's he going to do in the third sector? He's currently trying to fend off Cast, and he does improve in his personal best in the third sector, and he also completes the fight against Cast. He stays in the lead of that battle for P11.
Where's Ferdinand?
P6.
Oh, P6. He's going to get some points.
Good for the
I'm
Aston
glad
Martin
because he
team.
was when he got out of the pits, he was in last place, and luckily these pit stops have caused him to get an advantage again.
I don't believe that Audi will be able to get enough points to now pip Aston Martin in the constructors with these current positions. But if Fernand does DNF and Lanstroid does improve, they may be able to get a good foundation to try and take Aston Martin for P3 in the constructors for next year. And Fernand is now fighting Dance as they go round turn 1. Dance seems to be on top of this battle for the time being. But they are right next to each other, inside each other. Now going through turn 3. I believe Fernand got the better line.
So Takara's been able to get some time
on top.
Seems Takara's been able to get some time on a Capitan. I'm thinking that's going to be about 5 seconds difference.
Yeah, that is a 5.1 second difference. However, Capitan's improvement is currently being very inconsistent. He hasn't improved at all in the first sector. He gets a session best second sector. I'm going to see what he can do in the third sector, as he does
Might
have the fastest lap.
I might be starting to feel the heat on Dakar.
Zakir is now lapping Scuppens as Cool Plug Ult does go into the pits. If Dakar is now going to start getting caught on the dirty air of the lapped cars in front, as Cool Plug Ult fits the medium compound tyres, then Dakar is going to start falling back, because if you're getting stuck in dirty air within cars that you're not fighting, that is going to do nothing but give you a disadvantage.
And it seems as though the Red Star just finished his pit stop. I just saw him going straight out of the pits.
Yeah, that was Cool Plug
Pretty
Ult.
late. Pretty late to go into the pits at this rate.
Yeah, even I would have assumed they put him on the soft compound, but no, they put him on the mediums.
Interesting strategy.
Borak, currently the leading McLaren on the soft tyres, has a nice gap of 10 seconds to the guy behind. That is Lance Droid, and also has a slightly smaller gap to the man in front of Seva, P7 in the Lotus. Going to see if he can gain some more positions to gain him some points. McLaren are now 1 point behind Toyota in the constructors' standings, and both McLarens are ahead of the only Toyota in the race at the moment. So at this rate, McLaren are going to overtake Toyota in the constructors to be just behind of Novena. Nice Pedicure seems to be doing a very good job at fending off Kai Kara. They're now lapping the back marker of Cool Plug Ult as well.
Audi's pitting. Audi's pitting.
Audi's pitting again. Is that going to be Lance Droid? Is that going to be Dante Hajek? That's going to be Dante Hajek. That's a very interesting strategy. That's going to definitely put him out of the points. I'm going to see if he can gain them positions back up. I wonder if there was another issue with that car that they had to fix. Or
The other Audi's pitting too.
This is a two-stop from Audi, even with a red flag period. I've never seen this before. This is very interesting.
Oh, Patrick Cruz slipping a bit on that middle section of the stadium.
Is that going to allow Kai Kara to get in front?
No,
I don't think
it wasn't
is.
enough for him. It wasn't enough for him to get an advantage, but he's now going to probably start being a little more orthodox on those curbs.
Yeah, he's definitely wanting to finish P3, which will give him a good foundation to finish P2 in the drivers' standings. He'll want to score more points than Kai Kara in the remaining races of the season. That lapped car back marker of Cool Plug Ult in the Red Star, that's definitely going to be giving Pedicuro, or would be giving Pedicuro, the advantage of the slipstream down the main straight. That's now going to be giving Kai Kara an advantage of a slipstream. Let's see what Dakar is doing.
Captain Bo's catching up with Dakar?
Dakar, yeah, because Dakar's now getting slipstreams, and Capitan Bo's getting slipstreams. He's no longer stuck in the dirty air of the back marker cars, now with Jogsy in the Valor. This gap's getting smaller and smaller for Capitan Bo. I believe having to lap back markers is giving Dakar a disadvantage, which is in turn giving Capitan Bo an advantage. He has improved in the second sector, Capitan Bo. Oh my god, he's literally up there with him already. Is he? He's finding pace where Dakar just can't. He gets the DRS. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get the DRS.
Are you sure about that? Because it looks like he's passing Dakar right now.
His back, the rear wing on that E-Spirit is not opening up.
Something's up. Because he got miles ahead of Dakar on that.
Capitan Bo
he got a good 20 seconds ahead.
And Dakar is feeling a little bouncy through turn 2.
I don't know if that was just a slingshot method or something, but that was odd. Because if you're saying he didn't have the DRS on, I wonder how he was able to do that.
The rear wing definitely did not open on that E-Spirit. It did open on one of the Valors, the back markers behind, but it definitely did not open on the E-Spirit.
McLaren getting a little bit of spinny
and
off the turn before stadium.
Yep,
luckily
and
he wasn't
Dakar
able to
is also
crash out.
feeling a little bit slidey through that exact same corner.
And here comes Red Star. Brand Star and Ferrari together. Seems that Red Star is able to keep up. Although he is lapped, so it's not going to do him much good. However, it seems as though Kakara's been able to catch up with Pachikuro.
Pachikuro
Almost passing him as well.
wants to score more points than Kaikara to hold on to P2 in the driver's standings. But considering that Kaikara is on medium tyres and Pachikuro is on red tyres, Kaikara is doing a superb performance.
One of the Valors almost crashing into the wall the same place Silby did over on that straight. Is Pachikuro starting to feel wear in his tires, maybe?
I believe he may be feeling some wear. However, it does seem like he got a better exit out of the final corner as he is catching up with the Red Star and the Ferrari as they go into turn 1.
I'm surprised this Red Star has been able to keep up so far. I'm surprised they haven't passed him by now. Because that Red Star, I do believe, is a back marker.
Yeah, that Red Star is definitely a back marker. Running in dead last.
Ooh, Dakar getting a bit of a swiver. Getting a bit swirly off that stadium turn. He's losing a lot of time behind Capitan.
0.7 seconds now separates them two, with another
We're
24-second gap down to Kaikara.
And with him passing it, we're now going to be in the last 2 laps of this race.
So not a lot of time for Dakar to gain time, not a lot of time for Patrick Kerr to try and get ahead of Kaikara. He's now way behind that Ferrari.
Anybody else at this rate because everybody's so spread out right now. But we still got a fight between a Lotus and Fernan. I can't tell which Lotus that was. I'm going to assume that's Coretta.
That's Seva.
Seva. Alright, that's Seva. Where is Coretta? I haven't seen Coretta at all recently.
He's behind them. That's a... What is that gap? That's like there's a 10-second gap between Fernan and Coretta.
Interesting. And it seems as though Pachikuro and Kakar are still fighting with that Red Star. The Red Star's on medium tires. I'm surprised they haven't been able to catch up with him, or pass him, and get some distance behind him.
Pachikuro, he wants to stick on... That sentence wasn't going to go anywhere. He wants to remain in P2 in the driver's standings. He's currently with the man who will be able to overtake him in the driver's standings if he does beat him at the remaining races of Kaikara.
And here we go. Captain Bo and Dakar are about to cross the line in order to start the final lap of this race.
Project User now giving both of them drivers a very good slipstream. Just half a second separates these drivers. We cannot call the leader the winner of this race just yet. Dakar is getting slidey. Capitan Bo seems to be doing very well to keep him behind.
And there it is. Pachikuro just got ahead of Kakara. If he can hold that for the rest of the lap, he'll be able to get that P3.
Pachikuro and Kaikara are neck and neck. Capitan Bo and Dakar are neck and neck. This is going to be a spectacular finish to this race, no matter who finishes on top. Personally, I want Capitan Bo to win. It'll be his first win.
Or
first win Free Spirit this season.
It's going to be who finishes first or who finishes.
Yeah.
It'd be bad to have a last lap crash, but it is not out of the picture yet.
So, the gap is getting bigger between Capitan Bo and Dakar. The gap is getting bigger between Pachikuro and Kaikara. We're going to go on board with Capitan Bo as he now rounds the final sector. Dakar is going to try and push all he can. There's a McLaren going off at the back of the field. Dakar is going to try and claim another win, but it looks like it's going to be going to Capitan Bo. Who gets the better exit? It's going to be Capitan Bo. It's going to be close on the line.
He's definitely going to take it. There's no doubt about it. There
Capitan
it is.
Bo, he takes the win, and Dakar crashes out on the last lap. He's going to crash out in anger, but who can finish on top between Pachikuro and Kaikara? It looks as if it will be Pachikuro. He's the first person to round to the final corner.
Kakara takes a complete...
He hasn't made a mistake.
There it is. That's going to be Pachikuro taking P3.
Well done to the Brand Star team. That's an E-Spirit on top for the first time in Season 3 with Capitan Bo, their brand new driver. And it's going to be a Ferrari of Dakar in P2 and a very well fought battle between P3 of Pachikuro and P4 of Kaikara. But Pachikuro made it out on top and finishes P3. We said before the race started, it's unlikely that Dakar will fall back. If Paddy Kuro was in Capitan's position, maybe we could be talking about championships right now. Well, it looks unlikely Paddy Kuro will be able to do anything now.
Well, I mean, we
Capitan
still
Bo,
have 2 more races.
yeah,
If the car
Capitan
crashes
Bo's been,
twice, he's got it in the bag.
yeah, Capitan Bo, that's a brand new rival for Dakar. I believe we may now be seeing next year's champion. It's going to be very
Well,
close.
I feel like after this result, we're gonna have to see a few investigations on why that Esprit car was able to go so fast.
And I am here with that information right now. So, as I suspected, the Spirit has better engine and better aero. Meanwhile, the chassis on the Ferrari is well superior. But this track definitely relies on having a slippery car through the air, which is where that aero comes in handy, and having a powerful engine, which is what the Spirit has. So that race made total sense, I think.
All right, you heard it from the god himself.
Capitan
Alright.
Bo wins in F1.
Now we just wait for Patrick Kerr to show up.
He was very much further behind than the 2 on top, so it may take him a while to arrive.
What?
Well,
Who flung his car?
that's no Paddy Kuro out of existence.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to take it there myself. If you want something done, do it yourself. There it is.
Red Star car managed to make its way inside of the media building.
Somehow, I think somebody did a bring.
We're now going to wait for the podium sitters to make their way to the podium.
And here we go.
Here is P3 of Paddy Kuro in the Brand Star. It's a very well fought battle between him and Kaikara for that position. He keeps his second place in the driver's standings because of that result. Still waiting for Dakar. I do have a slight inkling he may not be too happy with this result. But anyway, here is Dakar and Capitan Bo, who won with E-Spirit. The first win for that team this season. The third team this season to win a race. The third driver this season to win a race.
Seems as though Kashmir still hasn't fixed the whole celebration podium thing.
Yo, Shay,
Yes.
what side of the thing are you clicking?
Sorry?
What side of the podium are you clicking?
I think I was clicking the right side.
You need to click the left side.
Bruh.